Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Leah. This is Juniper. This is Chrome. We have been waiting our whole lives for you to come over. Come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, I'm Leah Alexander, founder and principal interior designer of the Atlanta-based award-winning design firm Beauty is Abundant. Right now, we are in Midtown Atlanta in my home. My personal style can be described as artful and elevated and colorful and women of color centric. And I like to call this place Midtown Marvel because we're in Midtown Atlanta and because it's a marvel the way that I renovated this place and took it from its 1996 glory to what it is today. So many things inspired me to choose this home. I looked for about a year with my realtor, Cher Allen, just kind of on and off, seeing what Atlanta had to offer as a transplant from Los Angeles. What initially struck me about this building at a glance is it's a 4-story brick building. It's 100 years old. It's set back from a busy intersection in Atlanta, and it's surrounded by these modern mirrored skyscrapers, and it just really felt like being among this like scrappy band of holdouts. I love that it has these kind of beautiful old wrought iron balconies and features and stone pavers. And the space itself really lends itself to being a laboratory for my design work. So right when you come in my home, immediately you see this beautiful artwork. It is a teeny tiny $2-3 magnet of the Oscar award-winning actress Hattie McDaniel, and it's something that my partner had for some years, and I was fortunate to be able to frame it with this pink mat and this rose gold frame, and I really like to think that I'm giving Hattie the soft life that she deserves, kind of perched in this frame where she should be. And it's so fitting to have Oscar award-winning actress here, Hattie, here in Atlanta in Midtown Marvel, because right around the corner we have Margaret Mitchell House, which is actually where Gone with the Wind was written, and that is the movie that blessed us with Hattie. So it's a nice little something to see coming and going. Right now we are in the entry hallway of my home. This is where I welcome guests. One time I was on camera talking about this space and I called it a mudway, which is not a thing. Sometimes you're on camera and you're talking and you're sharing and you're like, am I even saying words? So this is the entry closet, not the mudway, which maybe I'll make that a thing, who knows. Come on in. I love this space because it's so organized. Living in the city and having a tight space, you need as much storage and organization as possible. So we have the coat rack here that has leashes and harnesses for my puppies Chrome Luna and Juniper Soleil, hats from travels from Savannah, from New York. And then here we have a proper coat closet, which I am super proud of. It stores the luggages and the winter coats, raincoats, etc. And then here, what I love about this mirror is that it has our mail sometimes. It's a vintage find that was just sanded down and left natural. And I think it's a really beautiful punctuation in this color blocked room that I have these two lilac colors coming together. So the lilac color in the coat closet is inspired by art that is in the home. We have this piece here by a local artist here in Atlanta. Her name is Shaniqua Gay. This piece, it doesn't really have the lilac per se. I like to create a little bit of tension with color, so not too matchy-matchy, but it's called Mama Stella's Half, and it's a quilt motif on chiffon that I chose to frame, so it is a fabric piece. And what's so special about this piece to me, I got it at a gallery here in Atlanta called Jackson Fine Art. And it was my first time really being able to walk into a fine art gallery and say, like, I'll take it. So I was very proud of that. And since then, this piece has also joined the collection at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium here in Atlanta. There are 5 editions of this piece. I have one, Mercedes-Benz has one, and then there are just 3 others out in the world. So this color palette inspired the entry closet as well as this entry bench over here. So what I love about this bench is it is like a million pool noodles just woven together to make this spongy, springy entryway bench. And I think it's such a beautiful way to welcome guests into Midtown Marvel. My design firm is called Beauty is Abundant. And this sign here says, "Your beauty is abundant." And I designed it for a show house that I did in Dallas in 2022 called the Kips Bay Decorators Show House. And it was a bathroom space. And in lieu of a mirror, I said, I'm gonna put this message here. You don't need to check and fuss and worry about how you look. Like, I am here to tell you that your beauty is abundant. And after we moved out of the show house, I brought it home with me. I really like to give people permission in their homes, even as a designer. When I finish a space for a client and I've styled it, we've photographed it, and it's done, I like to give people permission to grow into their space. And so with this dining room, after renovating it and removing lots of trim from these windows and removing the door to the entry closet, there was a proper door just like the front door, and now obviously it's just open. But I like to give people permission to evolve. So in this space, we had a different piece of art here at one time, and that piece you'll see in my bedroom. It's moved, and now we have 2 new ones that I'm very proud of. This one is called Iced Memories, Charging Me, Grounding Me, and it's a photograph by an epic artist in LA called Dopez. I got this piece through my legendary art curator friend. Her name is Yael, and her company is called The Art Wolf. And I just really love how graphic the piece is. It's super edgy to be in this 100-year-old building with the brick. And it's just really a mixed bag of materials and mediums and styles. So we have the Dopez piece here. And then, I think that sometimes people like to really play up how much they entertain, but we don't entertain too much. When we do, this table here fits 9-10 people for a game night, which is what happened last Thanksgiving when my little brother and sister came to visit from LA and from Southern California. So we just love how it really takes up this space, and it's a simple area to dine with lots of art nearby. Welcome to my living room. So just off the dining room, we have this space that's so perfect for lounging. As you can see here with the windows in this space, we're kind of like semi-underground, and I love that it's just so private, but then you can kind of peek up from the sofa and see what's happening here in the city. So many pieces are special to me in this space. The concrete coffee table here is called Luna Rosa, and it's funny because my puppy Chrome's middle name is Luna, and I just really think that so many inspirations are interconnected. But it's a pink concrete coffee table that's obviously meant to look somewhat like a moon, and it was made just for me by my friends Hector and Mariella of the collectible design company called Bridge and Fog in Los Angeles. And what I love so much about it is just the shape. It's so different, and the material, it's so different. I don't think I've ever seen a pink concrete coffee table before, so I'm just so honored to have it. And also what's really important to me as I come up through the design ranks is nurturing relationships with art curators and artists and galleries and furniture makers and artisans. It just really makes my career that much more rewarding to put into my own home and into clients' homes pieces made by people I know personally, which is also the case with this beautiful side table. This was hand-carved, hand-turned, hand-finished by my friend Allison Samuels of the company Two Tree Studios. And I'll probably tell the story wrong, but essentially she told me that the name came from her mentor. She was an apprentice, and she was in this workshop, this wood workshop. And she had a mentor with like maybe a beautiful French accent, and he would say like 2, 3, 4, and he would say that. And so she called her firm Two Tree, which I love. But I met Allison at High Point, North Carolina, and I saw her work. Initially, this was going to be like this beautiful inky cobalt blue piece. but I wanted to introduce some pops of black in this space because it does add an edginess to the space with otherwise white walls. So it's really special to me to have a furniture piece made by a woman woodworker, which is few and far between, so very special. The sofa here is from Mo's Home Collection, which is this epic company in Vancouver, Canada. It's so comfortable, and it's positioned just so to take in the TV, take in the scenes that are happening just overhead through the window. It's tailored. I love that the cushions do not come off, so they're not like flopping around. You're not losing the remote control. And I love it so much. What we have here, so obviously TV watching moment, I thought about putting a picture up there, and I think nowadays we're familiar enough with the Samsung Frame TV and people are like, oh, gotcha, like it's a piece of art, it's a TV, we do understand, but I do love how flush it is up against the brick wall with kind of the window above, so there's lots to see on this wall, as well as this kind of like mesh front credenza that is packed to the gills with design books and business books and things like that. So it's really kind of a special and utilitarian piece happening here in the living room. And again, in an open space like this, you need lots of storage, and that's what this is for me. In this corner, it's about the coziest reading nook possible. There's not a lot to it. I had someone recently say, like, Leah, people need things. And I almost disagree. Like, we don't need that many. And so in this corner, we have just enough of a side table and have my, my coffee here. Actually, I'll take a sip. We have my coffee here, and to know me is to know that I love Architectural Digest. So we have AD at 100. We have AD at 100 here. And it's just a great place to read, and it's the only place in the home that takes in everything from this particular perspective. So I really love to sit here and just, take in the mudroom and the beautiful artwork and this exposed concrete column. So I talked about things that I kept in the home that are original to the home that was built in 1920. And when I first bought the place, this was actually wrapped in drywall. So it was this much bigger structure in the space. It had like an electrical outlet on it. So it was just much larger and not as special. And so once we got in there and started prying off the drywall and the 2x4 framing, to find this like gnarly, concrete column with all of its imperfections just makes me so happy, because a lot of the other elements in the home are pretty pristine. And I like how natural this is, because sometimes it's like that, right? So of course I binge Homeworthy all the time, and I feel like designers are always saying that every single space and every single item is their favorite, and I totally do not blame them. I would say that my favorite spaces, I have two. My favorite spaces in my home are my kitchen. And funny thing about the kitchen is that when I originally designed it, I was going to use Calcutta Viola marble, which is this beautiful, like reddish burgundy, purpley, graphic marble with these heavy veins, and it was going to be really stunning with taupe cabinets. And I shared this with my stone vendor, and she was kind of like, girl, like the Instagram marble, really? Because it was everywhere at the time, because it's so beautiful. And she just really encouraged me to dig a little bit deeper, kind of go back to the drawing board, and, don't threaten me with a good time of creating another design for myself. So I did, and I ended up with these chartreuse cabinets that, as far as I'm concerned, are neutral. And this beautiful Medellin quartzite countertop, backsplash, shelf combination that I'm so much happier with, and I think I would have been with the Instagram marble. And then my new favorite is my home office, which I didn't have up until recently, and I just love it so much because it has the most exposed brick in the home. And it's just this combination of materials with the hardwood floors and the exposed brick and the exposed concrete, and then this beautiful Benjamin Moore blue haze paint color that I was able to use with tons of art, and this beautiful oxblood desk that I literally tracked down because it was discontinued after I decided I needed it. And I just love the spaces so much. Now we are in the kitchen, and this kitchen has been a really celebrated project in my career. I love it so much. I mean, I know that I talked about the fact that it was going to be the Instagram marble before, and now it's this beautiful quartzite that has just enough movement. It's so interesting, and I love it so much. So we have this slab here. I made sure to size the island so we didn't have to have a seam, and it's really lovely. And it's so funny. So I won't be left out of all of the designers who share their Paris trips on Homeworthy. I saw these stools in Paris and I just love them so much. They look like they're just easy breezy, but they're super heavy and the top is cushioned and it looks like it's like plastic or something, but it's a cushioned top and they're so comfortable. I needed a swivel. Like sometimes a girl just needs a swivel. I want to be able to look around and interact with people in the dining room and in the living room and in the reading nook. And so I'm so happy with these counter stools. I would love for you to see what the before of this kitchen looked like. It was your standard 1996 kind of medium glossy wood cabinets. There was tile on the backsplash. I think there was maybe a part where there was tile on the countertops. There were these two amber glass pendants coming down right here. And actually, there was a wall here, completely closing this off. And then the peninsula countertop extended from there. So I did some reworking and obviously opened this up so that, you know, we have this beautiful island. We have much easier circulation here. And I made it the hardest working, but also super beautiful kitchen that I possibly could make it without upper cabinets. And I think I succeeded. I want to show you some of the interior organization that's happening within the cabinets. But I want to talk about, like, this stone shelf was just something that I needed. Like, I just needed the stone shelf and it's been so lovely. I don't put anything on there hardly ever just because I like how clean and crispy it is. But above it, I put this beautiful photograph called Wherever, I think it's called Wherever You Take Me. And it's by an epic photographer called Fares Mikwe. And she's in the Canary Islands. And the Canary Islands is like a place that, you know, you kind of wonder, like, is this a real place? Like Salem, is it a real place? Is it from Sabrina the Teenage Witch? Like kind of an obscure sounding place. But she's in the Canary Islands. And the idea with this piece is to kind of feel like, you know, I'm looking out a window, right? There's obviously not a window here. And it kind of feels like this Stanley Kubrick Man Landing on the Moon retro futuristic kind of piece that I really love. So I love having that above the stone shelf. We have our coffee, we have our tea. And then the other special thing about this kitchen that I love, because there are no hardware, there are no handles, it's all push to open. I love the glass appliances. I definitely considered making the appliances integrated with the cabinets and just paneling them. But the white glass by Samsung is just really so special to me. And by the way, Samsung, call me if you want to make some magic, right? We have the Samsung TVs and appliances, but I really love them. And I love how sexy and sleek they are. It's funny because I had a friend say to me, like, this refrigerator, like, I could never. There's no room. Like, what could possibly be in this teeny tiny refrigerator? And, you know, I will say that to know me in my 20s is to know that there was nothing in the refrigerator, like maybe some condiments, maybe a cheap bottle of booze, but she's older now. So she's in her prohibition era. And I do feel like the ultimate home tour moment is to see what's going on in the fridge. So let's take a look. Okay, she might be a little tiny bit styled for you, Homeworthy, but I just love it. It fits a pizza box. It fits only what we need, nothing more, plenty of room, and I love it so much. The other thing about this kitchen, so I mentioned that I removed some doors from the space, 4 in total, which I think is kind of hard to believe because it's not an enormous home. But here was a proper door closing this off to make a laundry room. So I went ahead and I fit a stacked unit here. I mean, it literally fits in this space like within an inch of its life, but it's absolutely perfect for what I need in the home. And it just allows open space for other more interesting things. I think that chartreuse at the time when I designed this kitchen was really having a moment. I worked on a project, a show house, and I upholstered all of the walls of my space in this chartreuse, almost animal print kind of pattern. It sounds wild, but it was really beautiful. And so I think that stuck with me. That was in 2020. I designed this kitchen in 2022. And this kitchen last year actually won my Design Firm Beauty is Abundant, the HGTV Designer of the Year award for most dramatic before and after. And I really do think it's super dramatic, and I love the color choice. I mean, people have been really excited with me, and it seems to have made an impression. The other thing about this kitchen that I love is, and it's an addition, right? So when I first photographed the kitchen, this was not here. But being in a 100-year-old building, stuff comes up. Like I was telling a friend that Retta, this comedian, said on his show, Ugliest Homes in America, that, home ownership means that everything sucks and nothing works. And in this case, with the floorboards, I wanted to make sure that I protected them so that they would work and not be ugly. And so this vintage Ushak rug really pulls the chartreuse, it pulls the lilac from the entry closet. It pulls in so many colors. It pulls in the blue from the reading nook in the living room. And it also speaks to so much of the art that I have happening here in the home. So the chartreuse just worked. I mean, sometimes it's just stuff is an aha moment, and the light bulb kind of went off, and I'm really happy that I went with it. Well, and it's funny, like some of my designer friends describe it as kind of like a throw-uppy greeny yellow, and that's fine with me if you, I think it's really beautiful. And I love that you almost can't pinpoint whether it's green or yellow, because I think that it makes it feel a little bit more versatile. So one thing that's really important to me is organization. And it's the junk drawer, but it's beautiful, right? It's like one of the most beautiful junk drawers you'll ever see, because we have this interior organization. We're making the most use of this space. That way you're not having stuff everywhere all the time, which I could not do. So we have that there for all of the knickknacks and the tape and the lighters and things. And then we start getting into more kitchen-y items with the frother and the can opener, and everything has a place. So it makes it really easy to put everything back where it goes after a long day. And then the one other thing I will say is inside the cabinets, lots of organization. The shelves lend themselves to kind of, being adjusted based on what we have going on. I have all of my glassware from my travels, things from High Point Market, things from Antiques and Beyond here in Atlanta. And I just really love having a place that is kind of at eye level to hold these beautiful things, so that when I want to have a glass of water, it can be a special event. What we have here is one of two full bathrooms in the space. This is the hallway bathroom, and I really just wanted to create some surprise and delight in this room when you open the door. This wallpaper is called Crane Fonda, and here in Atlanta, Jane Fonda is a really big deal, and she is everywhere, but she's a big deal, and I love this wallpaper. I think it's just the right amount of elegance and whimsy, and so that kind of took the lead in my inspiration of this space. And then I painted the ceiling a similar color to match the wallpaper. We continued the Medellin quartzite from the kitchen onto the countertops and up onto the backsplash here in the bathroom. And then just an irregular mirror, which, my realtor friends asked me for tips. And I think just like pry that glued on builder grade, like full wall mirror, pry that thing off and put something unique on the wall like this, and it'll make the bathroom much more interesting. We did Zalige tile in the shower, and I love the tile so much. It reflects light really beautifully, but what I will say is, if I had known this in 2022, you gotta clean them in a way that I think is a little more than I'd plan on biting off to chew. Because there are these beautiful grooves and irregularities, but it does make for some scrubbing with a little toothbrush, which is fine if you're game for it, which I totally am for beauty. So one thing that's so special about this bathroom is this vintage Barbie art that I have here nestled in the corner. And I think that Juniper and I kind of resemble Barbie with her little dog there. Don't you think, Junie? Unpopular opinion about gallery walls. I'm not a huge proponent of them, but I did want to take the opportunity to make this hallway a bit of a gallery. I have this new piece here called Some Like It Hot, and it's just this beautiful artwork of a woman at a market sorting all of her peppers for sale. I bought it at the Dogwood Festival here in Atlanta last year with my dad. And I love it so much. It's by an artist called William Kwamina, and it adds just the right amount of color. And the purple wood frame picks up on these pool noodles here in the entry and also the ushak runner in the kitchen. Continuing down the hallway, I love this piece here. It is another vintage Barbie art piece. We have the one in the bathroom with Juniper and me. And then we have this one here, and it's called Scootering Through Tuscany. And what cracks me up is that this Ken doll literally looks like the singer called Babyface. And so when I see it, I crack up a little bit. But I love how chic and retro they are. And, it also kind of gives way to that 50s, 60s retro with the Stanley Kubrick-esque piece that we have in the kitchen. And this couple here scootering through Tuscany. This door to the bathroom with the crane fonda wallpaper is kind of funny. It opens outward, and it just honestly was not worth the renovation cost to switch it. But what we have here on the other side is this beautiful piece that I also bought at the Dogwood Festival in Atlanta last year. And the shot is called Kobe. And so being from LA, obviously everyone knows who Kobe is, but I have kind of secondarily named it Shoot Your Shot, right? Like, it's hard to do a thing out here. It's hard to take a risk. And so I really love to take this as a reminder to shoot your shot in all that you do and be in a place of yes and seize every opportunity that serves you. Someone asked me if I'd always wanted to be an interior designer recently, and it dawned on me that in my childhood home, which my grandparents built from the ground up, which not a lot of people get to do, and it was in Minnesota, a suburb in Minnesota, and it was this kind of massive, modern, flat-roofed, multi-tiered, multi-leveled home with these massive windows overlooking a lake with this beautiful natural wood wraparound deck. And it's really dawned on me recently that that home and the sunken living room and the openness of it has kind of subconsciously guided me to my design career. And my grandpa, Gary, is an architecture enthusiast. He loves Frank Lloyd Wright. He's taken me to some of the homes in Arizona by Frank Lloyd Wright. And so all of these things compound to guide one's decision-making when it comes to their careers. And then when I graduated university in San Diego and moved to Los Angeles, I found myself at a design firm. At the time, it was a commercial design firm, and I was planning these events. It was like this interesting combination of having an event to celebrate each successfully completed commercial project and getting into the weeds of what interior design entails and really understanding how intimate and social of an industry it is, and how it's not like a super corporate situation like per my last email energy. It's just something different where you can nurture lifelong relationships. Back in 2008, that's when I really made the decision that I'm gonna be an interior designer. And then in 2017, Beauty is Abundant was born. Right now, we are in my new home office that I share with my partner. And I am so excited to be in this space and to share it with you. It's like my little sister, she does these silent screams. That's how excited I am to be in this space. It was a long time coming. It was very kind of challenging for me to make decisions about this room. So I want to kind of set the scene for you how it was before. Here, kind of right between this art and this kind of medical examining lamp that I thrifted, there was a door to a closet, right? So this is meant to be a second bedroom. So there was a door to a closet. That closet was absorbed into the primary closet, but there was a door there. And funny enough, the paint color was blue. It was a different blue, but to come this far and renovate this much and to end up with a blue paint on the wall is pretty hilarious. But I'm so proud of this because initially, with the exposed brick and kind of the concrete corner of a column and concrete up top and the hardwood, it was really difficult for me to make a decision about what the wall treatment would be with all of these existing conditions that I happily inherited. At one point it was going to be wallpaper, it was going to be these different paint colors, and eventually I landed on this soft elevated blue. I wanted to be sure it didn't look like a baby's nursery, but that it was just soft and really inspiring because I do a lot of my design work here in this office. So I'm super proud of it. Also, it's a beautiful backdrop to this second art piece by Shaniqua Gay. This is another quilt motif on chiffon. And in the dining room, we have Mama Stella's half. This one is called Mama Stella's quarter. And, so I'm from Los Angeles, right? But in the deep South, quilting was a big deal, right? It's a survival mechanism. It is just laced with tenacity and skill and talent and beauty. And that's really kind of a story that Shaniqua is telling with these quilts. And I can completely attest to it in my personal life. My grandma's from Mississippi and she has, quilts that she's passed down to us. I really wish I had one here, but I understand the importance and the beauty of quilting, which is why I have a second piece here by Shaniqua. And the light blue is just such a beautiful backdrop. And then all of these different kind of red and kind of oranges, for lack of a better word, work so beautifully with the brick. So we have this sofa here, and I love curved furniture. It's a big trend. It's been around for a long time, but curved furniture is the thing. And what I love about this sofa, which is also from our friends at Mo's Home Collection in Vancouver, love them. They're such a great group of ladies. But what I love about this is the angularity of the chaise, right? So it's just like this deep, chunky side of the sofa that is so perfect in the morning for curling up, journaling, kind of getting ready for the day, and then looking out this window and seeing like that faint blue coming through early in the morning as things start to get busy. This busy street out here starts to pick up and it's like, all right, let's hop to it. But I love, just the shape of the sofa. It's so comfortable. And then I have here a quilt. One thing I noticed about this space is like an organic quilt theme just like surfaced. So I have this quilt here from a place called Quarters, which is in New York, and it's with a company called In Common With. It's just this beautiful handmade quilt that just seemed to serve the space so beautifully and make it super cozy and comfy. Again, just with art. So here, and I work with a ton of vendors and things like that very closely. And so sometimes I get these beautiful presents. And in this case, with this Dutch Master Midnight Floral print, that's actually on a scarf. So this is the scarf that I framed, right? So we framed the chiffon pieces by Shaniqua and also this scarf, which is from Kohler. So Kohler has these beautiful sinks that have this pattern inside it. And it's just like so stunning. And so I wanted it up here in my office. I think it works really great. And I think that it's it's moody with this oxblood desk. And I'd been looking at this desk for some time, and right when I decided this was the one, it was discontinued. And I noticed that there were a couple in stock in the country, and I love how the Kohler Dutch Master Midnight Floral color palette does so beautifully with this oxblood desk by Blue Dot. And it's so funny because I'd been, contemplating about desks for a long time, just like I had a really hard time deciding about the paint color. And as soon as I decided that I wanted this beautiful oxblood desk, it was discontinued. And I was made aware that there were a couple of these desks left in the country somewhere. And so I beelined it to New York and was like, I need you to sell me one of these. And I'm so happy I did, because the color with the artwork makes me incredibly happy, along with this light blue, these ergonomic Cosm chairs. They're so fantastic in this space, and it really is like a proper office. And then, I recently got this tortoise vase, and, it kind of is like this animal print with what looks like animal print on the butterfly wings in the Kohler art piece. But I realized after buying it that I was really inspired by an art piece that I saw in the New Orleans Museum of Art. And it was this beautiful oil still life framed like unexpectedly in this tortoise frame. And after I bought this vase, it dawned on me how subconsciously we're just really inspired and how things make an impression upon us, which is why I think it's so important to tailor what we're consuming and what we expose ourselves to, because it does become a part of our zeitgeist and a part of our subconscious. And in this case, it turned out really beautifully with this tortoise vase. And so you notice, like, obviously when Homeworthy comes over, you get fresh flowers, right? Totally get it. And I did do that. but I don't mind a floral that's past its expiry. Like, I just think that it's like an OG dirty pair of Chuck Taylor's sneakers, like no fuss, classic. And that's kind of what we have here. And I'm really loving it. It's like a brown pinkish flower that I was happy to get from my wholesale florist. And lastly, on this desk, I have this IKEA desk lamp that is so functional. It honestly is perfect. And I saw this in like a light green, like a minty green at a vintage shop in New Orleans on the same trip that I saw the tortoise. So the other thing that I love about what's happening on this desk is this chrome lamp here. It is an IKEA find. And I saw it in this really pretty mint green in a vintage shop in New Orleans, and I wanted her to sell it to me. I was gonna put it in my luggage and bring it home. I liked it so much, but it was not for sale. And it's funny, I find myself asking about things that are not for sale often. And now they only make it in this chrome color. The green is discontinued, but I love it so much. It's so functional. Obviously, I need to be able to move it around so that I can take a look at my samples when I'm working late at night. And it's just kind of like the perfect bit of chrome on this beautiful oxblood lacquer desk. So in the corners, we have the chrome adjustable medical lamps that I thrifted that I'm really proud of, that I scrubbed and scrubbed to get the rust off, and it turned out great. But we also have this chrome coffee table. It's a Diorso occasional table that was designed in the 1950s and just reissued recently, and I jumped all over it. I'm so happy to have it. But it's funny because my puppy, Chrome Luna, loves this table. Actually, Chrome and Juniper both love this table. And when we brought them home, it was so funny seeing them just kind of react to their reflection in the table and kind of try to bite the side of the table and lick the side of the table and jump back and jump forward toward the table. I read this article recently that was like, bros love chrome, like the chrome finish. And I'm like, well, you know what? I think it's me and bros and my puppy Chrome Luna who love this finish so much. I think it just adds a zing. I mean, it's just this really pretty, reflective, edgy finish that I think is awesome. And this table, so it has wheels, okay? And I have to show it to you because with dresses, right? So you'll have the chicest dress, and then you'll find out like, oh, it has pockets, right? And amongst us, you know, girls, we'll be like, okay, but look, it has pockets. We like cannot wait to share that it has pockets. And that's how I feel about a piece of furniture unexpectedly having wheels. I'm like, it is chic, but wait, there's more. And so in this case, it really allows the office to be, really versatile, really dynamic between the obviously the chairs on casters. And then, we have this coffee table on casters. And just as like an aside, I'm always on my health tip. And I have learned that, doing a little bit of movement with your body after a meal, just like 5-10 minutes, is very good for your glucose levels. So sliding this table out of the way and then literally, like I honestly, I'll be just here and just doing like my, this kind of action. And I love it so much. I mean, it makes this office a versatile guest bedroom, home office. It's kind of like a little snug, to watch TV and relax and read and take in the sounds of the city. So I really love it. The other thing about this office that I'm so proud of is this Steelmaster art steel cabinet. It was such a find for me. I mean, I had this other cabinet selected for my home office that was honestly, in full transparency, like thousands of dollars. And then I went thrifting and I found this 30 drawer cabinet that could be as old as the 40s when this company first started making them. And, it was a little rusty, it was a little banged up, but I really scrubbed it. I went in with some WD-40, and I'm not even a DIY kind of girly, but I loved bringing some luster to this piece. And it actually came with some original labels that was some sort of filing system that the previous owner had. But I love how it looks. I'm debating, like I am guilty of really kind of going with form over function sometimes in my personal home. So I'm leaving the labels off for now because it's pretty, but I love how functional it is. It houses so many samples. It's so well built, and it really makes it so that I'm efficient in my office. And one of these drawers houses like a full large basket worth of samples that I had in my previous sample filing solution. So really obsessed with that. And above it, we have this art piece. So I mentioned that quilting is something that's personal to me. Quilting is something among the Black community that has been a form of communication and expression and art and beauty for so long. And it just really kind of organically came together that these 4 women's outfits are a quilt effect. And I really love these 4 women standing together as a unit, kind of so to say, you know, we are the sum of our parts. And I think that's really special. I think it rings true for me. It's by Lauren Pierce, and I think it's called Where We Were. Lauren, forgive me if I'm butchering that, but I'm obsessed with it so much, and it plays so nicely with the Shaniqua Gay art pieces and the quilt that I have here on the office sofa. Welcome to my bedroom. I love this space so much. It's, again, really private with the windows kind of up high and secluded from all the things that are happening in the city. I found this piece in the last year or two. It's called Chromodynamic, and it resonated with me because I am a really long-term yoga practitioner, and something about this piece that's this gradient kind of feels like some chakra radiating upward, downward in your spine, kind of like a sunrise. And it's just really vibrant. And, you know, laying in bed and looking at this chromodynamic art piece kind of feels like you're in a slight trance. And I think sometimes we need that with everything going on in the world. So it really works well. And it has so many colors to choose from. You'll see in the primary bath that it's like this groovy, floral, dark botanic on the walls. And this color lends itself to so many others in the room, from the bedding and the vintage rug here on the floor. It just plays really nicely. And so in the closet, this is the space that I told you about that a couple of years ago, you would not be seeing me. There'd be a wall right here, and I would be able to access this little half bit of it from the office. But I took out that wall and I made a really hard-working storage solution possible. And I'm never selling this place, so it'll just have to be a one bedroom or a 2-bedroom, 1 closet kind of space. The thing about removing a door from a space is that I do encourage you to plan on being organized, you know. So in this case, looking from the bedroom into the closet with no opportunity to close the door means having this beautiful flush bank of drawers and doors and things like that, so that you can tuck things away, linens and all of that stuff, and still have a really beautiful view. And the eye just carries on through the hardwood in the floors rather than having a hard stop at this door right here, which is awesome. So this sofa at one point lived in my design studio on the other side of town, but it felt really perfect for this space. Again, with the deepest colors in chromodynamic, and then bringing this plush velvet sofa here to the space. And just a kind of a small technicality, but that makes a huge difference to me, is that this seat is a bench cushion. So it's just 1 cushion all the way across instead of what could have been 2 or 3, so that crumbs, and not that we're eating in here, but crumbs and phones and chapstick and all of that can kind of get lost in the mix. But it's just this one awesome cushion, and it's so cozy and, you know, secluded, right? Like, we have the window here, but now we're in this space. No one can see us. It's like, nope, I'm not here. No one knows I'm here. And what I love about it is being able to look at the reflection in the artwork across the way that I'll show you, and to be able to see outside from the window that's above my head, but really just be to myself in this little corner of Midtown Marvel. This is the other half of my bedroom, and I mentioned from the sofa, this beautiful artwork that is the focal point from the sofa. It is a stunning, stunning portrait of a supermodel. Her name is Sukenya, and the photograph is by Michelle Monique. And the image itself was featured in Elle, Germany in 2020. I happened upon it from my friends Zoe Bios Creative in Los Angeles, and it's a custom size, and it just really spoke to me. It's such a beautiful piece. And, you know, the light green, it's not chartreuse, right? But it's a little bit of a green chartreuse adjacent color, and it plays so nicely with the other art pieces in the room. And also this very brand new addition to Midtown Marvel, this hand cast glass sconce, right? So we designers, we can have our ways. We can be a little persnickety when it comes to certain technical things. And, best practice for the most part is hardwiring sconces and things like that. But I do love the flexibility of this plug-in sconce here. And this one it's brand new. It's by Anna Dawson from Studio Anna Dawson, excuse me. And it's such a special piece. It's inspired by the flower calla lily. And I just love it so much. I love how the fluid nature of the shape and that soft green color picks up on the portrait of Sukenya here. And it's just an awesome moment. So easy at night to just, good night, and pop this back on. So special. Another piece from the Dogwood Festival that I just absolutely love, of this essentially little girl on the prairie. And I think it's so special. And the purple, again, just kind of having these through lines and telling a story through color with the purple frame here, and then the deep bluey purple sofa and things like that. And I would say that the goal is never to match, it's just to have some sort of coherence, right? And I mean, it can simply be that you love something. That can be the thing that makes things cohesive. But in this case, I wanted to tell a story through color. So in my primary bathroom, we are not lacking in color in any way. So this wallpaper here is this botanic, and it's kind of a deviation from a lot of the other style choices that I made here in my home, but I just loved it so much. I mean, these flowers are like hyper real, and I've never seen a wallpaper actually before this one that had flowers that almost look like pressed flowers in the wallpaper. It's so beautiful. And again, we have the Medellin quartzite, excuse me. And what I love about this vanity and the other vanity as well is this pill-shaped sink. It's something different to have this rectangular shaped sink, with just the really simple, clean lines. It's easy to keep clean in here. And here it was such a perfect fit, this vase by my friend Julia Elses. She's in Brooklyn, and she makes the most beautiful ceramic pieces. And to me, it's just such a perfect way to feature some wild Dr. Seussy kind of floral in the space with this botanical wallpaper as the backdrop. And funny thing, so I mentioned that, switching the builder grade mirror to something interesting is a good way to go. And in this space, my friend said that the mirror looked like a potato, and I cannot unsee it. And that's totally fine with me. I love the shape in any case, but it was just a funny thing that he said. And again, we have the Zalige tile here, and I love it so much. I wouldn't change it. It just does require a little elbow grease when you're cleaning it. My short and quick tip is 3 sources of lighting in every room, if you can, on dimmers. It really helps you to control the energy of the space, and throwing something on a dimmer switch really changes how a space looks and how you experience the space. But my real meat and potatoes, nitty-gritty design tip for myself and for everyone is to just ask yourself, wouldn't it be cool if, right? So I like to throw like really weird hypothetical examples to my clients. Like, wouldn't it be cool if we just lacquered this kitchen cabinet in this insane chameleon candy-coated color changing paint, right? Or wouldn't it be cool if we upholstered the walls of the secondary bedroom in bubble wrap? Like, why not? But in asking yourself that question, the unedited answer will really give you so much insight as to what direction you should consider taking with your home. Home to me means clarity. It means abundance. And not so much in terms of these voluminous spaces, but just in terms of having things around you that are a reflection of who you are. And it means creating enough space for yourself to consider the possibilities in life so that you can be in a place of yes about those possibilities.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.